Hi, my beautiful PCA student. So we are coming live from my living room, okay? This is where quarantine 2020 is getting real, all right? Miss Mendez is doing her own roots. We're gonna see how it looks in about 30 minutes, okay? I have some gray hair. Yeah, I'm getting old. So if your mom does this at home as well, you don't have to tell anyone. It's our little secret, but we're gonna hope and pray that this comes out okay, because no nails, doing the own gray hair, quarantine 2020. But we are going to talk right now about it being April, and April is National Poetry Month. If we were together, we'd be doing a lot of fun things with poetry, if you guys have remembered in the past years. But we are going to talk about a poet in particularly today named Shel Silverstein. He wrote some amazing books. He wrote things like The Giving Tree. Absolutely love this book. A Light in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends, Falling Up, and a few other books you might recognize from our library or from the public library. We're going to learn a little bit more about Mr. Shel Silverstein. So as I let my hair sit and get processed, we're going to read a book together. So I hope you enjoy Mr. Shel Silverstein.
Shel Silverstein. Chapter 1, Breaking Ground. Shel Silverstein surprised the children's publishing world in 1964. His book, The Giving Tree, was finally being published. This story about a boy and a tree had been rejected by many publishers. They thought it was too sad for a children's book. But The Giving Tree sold millions of copies. Silverstein's career as a children's author took off. If you're behind the times, then they won't notice you. If you're right in tune with them, they won't care too much for you. Be just a little ahead of them. Chapter 2, Perfecting His Craft. Sheldon Allen Silverstein's birth date is a mystery. Some sources say he was born September 25th, 1930. Others say the year was 1932. Either way, he was born in Chicago, Illinois as a child. Shel dreamed of playing baseball for the Chicago White Sox, but he was not a very good athlete. Instead, he turned to drawing. He studied art at 2 colleges in Chicago. Silverstein was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1953. While overseas, he worked for a military newspaper. Silverstein often drew cartoons for the newspaper that poked fun at his superiors. Sometimes the cartoons got him into some trouble, but no matter what others thought, Silverstein insisted on staying true to himself. Even when Silverstein was a famous author, not everyone liked his work, but Silverstein ignored his critics. I think that if you're a creative person, you should do your work and not care about how it's received, Silverstein said. After Silverstein left the Army, he became a cartoonist for newspapers and magazines. He also began writing and recording music. Silverstein's life changed forever in 1963. His friend, Tommy Ungerer, talked Silverstein into meeting with editor Ursula Nordstrom. Ungerer and Nordstrom suggested that Silverstein try writing for children. I never planned to write or draw for kids. It was Tommy Ungerer who insisted, practically dragged me, kicking and screaming, into Ursula Nordstrom's office. Chapter 3, Consistently Creating. Silverstein finished his first children's book in 1963. Lafcadio, the Lion Who Shot Back, was about a lion who leaves the jungle. Lafcadio has adventures in the city as an expert shot with a gun. While writing the story, Silverstein was not sure children's books were right for him, but Nordstrom believed in him. She worked with Silverstein to make his writing easier for children to read. It turned out that children's books were perfect for Silverstein's writing and drawing talents. He published 4 more children's books in 1964. 3 were picture books. Who Wants a Cheap Rhinoceros by Uncle Shelby came first. The Giving Tree and Uncle Shelby's a Giraffe and a Half soon followed. Uncle Shelby's Zoo, Don't Bump the Glump, was Silverstein's first collection of poems. Silverstein's name is now famous, but many of his children's books were published under the name Uncle Shelby. Silverstein did not want to appear as a strict parent or teacher. Instead, he wanted readers to see him as a fun-loving uncle. Silverstein wrote other poetry collections. One was called Where the Sidewalk Ends in 1974. The book's illustrations and funny rhymes were an instant hit with young readers. Silverstein gained even more fans in 1981 with A Light in the Attic. This book also had silly poems. It became the first children's book to make the New York Times bestseller list. I would hope that people, no matter what age, would find something to identify within my books, said Shel Silverstein. Silverstein was best known for his children's books, but he worked mostly as a cartoonist, songwriter, and playwright later in his life. He returned to children's publishing in 1996. He released a book of poems titled Falling Up. He also created an activity book called Draw a Skinny Elephant in 1998. Silverstein died unexpectedly May 10th in 1999. Chapter 4, Making His Mark. During his lifetime, Silverstein released 11 children's books. 2 more of his children's books were published after his death. Runny Babbitt was released in 2005. Everything on It hit bookstores in 2011. Though Silverstein is no longer with us, his incredible stories still live on. They continue to earn him new fans. I want to go everywhere, look at and listen to everything. You can go crazy with some of the wonderful stuff there is in life, said Shel Silverstein. Thank you very much, Mr. Silverstein, for all your amazing work.
I don't know about you guys, but I am so thankful for Shel Silverstein and all his awesome work. Just in case you guys are wondering, gray hair annihilation complete. Next, project paint my nails. Have an awesome week.